I am the talent. It's time to play Minecraft. Welcome back to the Minecraft Slowrun Bedrock Edition. We're here at World Spawn, where everything began 632 days ago. This is episode 10, and what I thought would be really cool for this episode is to give you a mini tour of the things that we've built in this world, starting here at Spawn, the little cottage that we built on day one. So our world spawn is here in the Stony Peaks. The first thing that we wanted to do, of course, was to get ourselves a little shelter because it's a little bit dangerous up here, especially at night. Now, the Stony Peaks are a little bit unforgiving. Well, actually, they're extremely forgiving. There's coal and iron everywhere. It's really easy to get yourself geared up with a full set of iron armor and tools right here on day one. But we wanted a little bit of shelter because we haven't quite figured out what we're going to do with our spawn base and how we're going to set up our spawn hub. Now, we haven't really done much of an interior yet, and there's still a lot of landscaping that would be ideal to put in here. Some more details around the front of the house. But this was really just to get ourselves started. We've been busy in other areas of the world. And again, we haven't quite figured out like where our main nether portal is going to be. So this is still kind of a work in progress. Eventually we'll have some backup boxes, some conveniences here at spawn in case you wind up here through some fatal mistake. In any case, we are a little concerned about beds, bells, and job blocks because of our iron farm, and we'll get to that. That is actually the main thing that we have here going on. And so if we head down this tunnel, that will bring us to our iron farm and trading hall. So down here we have our trading hall, which is also an iron farm. One of the great things about Bedrock is that the two go hand in hand. I didn't build this. This was built by Dino, the admin of our server here. So Dino was the first of us to experiment with Bedrock villagers and figure out all of the iron farm mechanics. And really good thing, because this is an excellent resource to have here at spawn for everyone. Iron flows in, so does string and poppies. And one of the great things about this setup is we've got some toolsmiths, armorers, weaponsmiths who we can trade the iron with for emeralds and then exchange those for other valuable goods like our librarians here. We got some farmers, some masons, and some clerics. These clerics are a really good source of redstone when you don't want to spend all your time mining for it. Now, one of the issues that we discovered coming here from Java, we didn't realize that farmers only have a 50-50 shot of selling golden carrots. So three of these guys are selling us glistening melons, and there's only one who has golden carrots. So they are in a little bit of a short supply here. And that's one of the reasons that at my starter village, I got 3 more master level farmers, made sure they're all selling golden carrots. So if we head over this way, it's still very unimproved here. We haven't really figured out how we want this place to shape up. This is the nether portal that I built to go into the nether for the first time to grab some essential supplies. And now, yeah, we did have the rib armor trim, even a couple of wither skelly skulls. Now it's a lot safer now that we got fire res and some golden boots here. Growing up a little patch of nether wart here. We are not going to go into the nether today. I will just say it is extremely dangerous. It is terrifying every single time I go there, even with elytra and fire res potions. And we haven't really done anything yet, so there's not much to see there at all. Besides that, we also have this little pit here that is useful for slime farming. Check out a recent episode. I used a technique that Slack Lizard discovered where if you stack armor stands down here, hit them with a potion of oozing, and then a couple of instant damage potions, those armor stands will turn into slimes. And yeah, this becomes basically a slime farm. That has been super helpful to get us all our redstone components. Easy place to come here to AFK for a while and grab yourself some iron and emeralds. Now if we head up this rickety staircase, I'll rejoin my horse. And yes, even though I have elytra, I am going to take the slow road today. There we can see our little path that goes up to the spawn cottage there. All right, so we have to take quite a few switchbacks since we're really high up in the world to get down here. One of the things that we will eventually work on here as well is improving this road. But again, the emphasis in the early game is to make things functional, and that's what we've got here. It's nicely lit up along the path, not so much alongside of the path, but it will at least get us there. And quite a few interesting resources we can gather along the way. There's a lot of cocoa beans growing. We're always running into some friendly parrots in this area as well. And here comes the rain to cheer up our day. Isn't that right? So spawn is just right up there. We come through the... what is it called again? Oh boy. Wow. That is definitely a sign that we should sleep. We do have fire tick on the server, so I'm not terribly interested in hanging around and waiting for things to burn down. And through here to the other side of the cherry grove, we can see our base coming into view, starting with our bridge that we built a couple episodes ago, the dock at the end of the peninsula that Ollie Kuhn built, our towering mangrove tree that is the home of Ollie Kuhn's parrot, and a couple of early game farms that we still haven't figured out a place to relocate to. Love this nice sweeping meadow that leads down into our little starter base down at the waterfront. And now that we have a nice set of bridges here connecting our base to these roads, we can turn our attention to the roads themselves and start working on those. Really excited. Coming up with a couple different designs for those roads that'll match the bridges and also blend in nicely with what we've got going on here. This little path that comes across to our starter base. Yep, here we are at our little base. This was our first bamboo farm and sugarcane farm before we started our industrial district. And I spent a lot of time working on the details of our starter base, interior and exterior. Really love how it turned out. A lot of detail and a lot of thought into. And the reason is you're here all the time. That's why we didn't really bother too much with the interior at spawn until we figure out what we're doing with the area. Not everyone really spends much time there. You're just basically there to go to the trading hall. But here at our base, of course, well, we're here all the time. So we wanted the place to look nice, be inviting, be a hub, be a central place that we can, you know, get all our stuff going. And I love the view of the bridge as we come over from the cherry grove there. So this is a really functional area too. This sort of breezeway here is where we can walk into our basic storage area. We've got some smelting areas, some storage here for iron and other minerals. This leads down to our mine, down to diamond level, which is also redstone level, as evident from the redstone block up here. Then over here, we've got our map wall that we haven't quite updated since we put in the new bridge. You can still see the old one, just the oak planks going across. We'll update this soon, and also the corners of the map we haven't quite filled in yet. There's our little storage area where we've got some of the essentials. Oh, washroom. Gotta stay clean. And then upstairs, of course, our little cozy living area. Plenty of books to read. We've got... cozy fireplace, of course, essential in any little cottage like this. And even a balcony. Not much view out the back right now. We haven't done much to improve the backyard just yet. And of course, a small little bedroom here. Got an armor stand to hang your armor at the end of the day. Little chest for some of the valuables. And the things that we can't really part with are keepsakes. The very first wooden pickaxe that I had in the game, and our first set of iron armor. There's everywhere you look, there's things that we need to do. This cactus farm needs to be relocated. The bamboo can probably come down. Ollie Kun started a pumpkin farm up here. We haven't really figured out where it's going to be permanently. We'd also like to get some animals in here, some pens, maybe some barns for sheep and cows. Even though we've got golden carrots, it's nice to have a little bit of a farm setup going on. And some more landscaping around our peninsula here. This is a really cool area. I think maybe having a little picnic area up here would be really ideal. And yes, we gotta find a home for the parrot. Kind of blends in to all of the vines on the mangrove tree. I love it. And you can see over here the second bridge that we built. That was actually very simple, but I was really happy with how it came out. So let's hop on our horse and head over to the factory. What I really want to show you, over to our industrial district. Fresh start to the day, bright and early. We'll head up over the boardwalk that leads to our second bridge. And over the bridge onto another road that really needs some improvement. This is a path that we built on our way to our starter village, which is another place that we visit all the time. And again, we have plans for this road, but the main thing was to make it safe. And if we continue off in this direction, we will reach our starter village, and this is where our factory is. We'll have to make a little spur to the road, a little offshoot to take us back up here. And there is our factory. I get to show you this for the first time. This is awesome. All right, now we're going to leave the horse because I'll want to give you some shots of this from the air. There it is, our factory. The home of our industrial district, a build that I have been wanting to do for a very long time. It's actually very simple. The block palette is not that complicated. The shape is fairly basic. The inspiration here is the kind of factories that you would see in, say, Industrial Revolution in England, sort of 19th century. Before, nowadays, most of the industrial buildings you'll see are going to be concrete and steel. But back then, it was still brick and wood for the most part. And brick is a block in Minecraft that is incredibly versatile. It's super easy to blend with because there are so many different blocks that have a very similar color. I guess the Wandering Trader finally got sick of being around here. I was saying there are so many other blocks that work so well with brick because of their color. Now, mainly that's granite and the plain color of terracotta, just regular terracotta. For the supporting wall, I wanted to put in a lot of polished granite up the side because that really makes it stand out a little bit more from the more worn down textures that would be on the side of the factory that have gotten weathered over time. I also really like blending in light gray terracotta, especially underneath these overhangs, these ledges, where you would see more moisture, more water dripping down, and the weathering effect would really come into play and sort of wear down the brick into a different color, into a much more washed out color, in fact. Other blocks that work really well in here, surprisingly, actually, there are some brown mushroom blocks. There's a lot of rooted dirt. Rooted dirt kind of looks like granite, just with a slightly different color. It's a little bit more brown. And that also works well with jungle planks. Of course, with brick and granite, you can make a lot of walls. It works fairly well with mud brick stairs as well. At the top, we've got the exposed copper stairs. And I wanted to have a really large entrance here. It's sort of too large to have a door, an actual functioning door. And I opted for this illusion of a door with acacia trapdoors sort of hanging up there. Kind of looks like it's a large metal grate that you would slide down to close off the factory. But of course, we want easy way in and out of our factory. And on the inside, we've got our bamboo farm, our dried kelp farm, and our moss farm, also the bone meal farm. And of course, I still have not cleaned up everything is just scattered all around. You can see for the roof, we've used a lot of deep slate slabs here, along with the copper, which is, what is that? Let me check. I still have a whole bunch of the building materials over here. So the waxed weathered slabs work really well as a decorative element along the roof. Let's actually get a view from... Oh, let's start over here and get some different angles so that we can take a sort of a better look. So mostly deep slate tiles up here with just a little bit of deep slate bricks that from a distance add another appearance of this weathering effect. Rather than having the same texture all the way through, you know, an old factory building like this is going to be worn down and parts of it are going to have been repaired and will have been weathered over time. So wanted to add just a little bit extra. And deep slate is one of the perfect things for a roof. It's a very simple color and texture. And the deep slate bricks just sort of add a little bit of extra detail there. Now on the back side, I do have sort of this large door. This is like sort of like a loading zone, right? We've got this large area where trucks would pull up and could get loaded and unloaded on their way into the factory. Moving materials, yeah. We're all about moving materials here. Merchandise coming in. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Still so much space to work with in here, and we've really only used 3 chunks for these farms. So we have another 3 chunks that we could put some dedicated farms. And honestly, I haven't figured out what would be the next priority. Bamboo was number 1 because we need it for all of the wood. That is essential, absolutely essential to get a bamboo farm going. Moss was our second priority because look at all this bone meal. We're just rolling in it. Bone meal, of course, is super essential for Minecraft. I've been crafting these up and stashing them somewhere over here. I've got a whole bunch of bone blocks. Yep, whole bunch of bone blocks. And finally, you know, for our smelting, we need a lot of fuel, and that's where the kelp comes in. Still a lot of work on how to access that, but that's because I haven't figured out what the interior of this should look like. And I'm thinking that there should be sort of a foreman's office. Actually, let's come over here because my ideas for starting this. Oh yeah, I did take out the bee farm and the cocoa bean farm as well. And you know, we got our bees here. They're safe. Don't worry about it. They are safe. What do you want? Yeah. Okay, but over here, this is sort of, you know, where the road will eventually connect to here. And I'll want to sort of smooth this out, or maybe have another smaller shack, like a guard post, right? And you need a guardhouse. I mean, you can't just have anyone wandering into a place like this. And then I want to have like a wall here where, you know, you have all of the posts that say all the posters that say things like, there have been 17 days since the last accident. And, you know, here are all the OSHA safety guidelines. There's a time clock you got to punch in, of course. So there's that brown mushroom block, right? Another little detail that I really like that kind of works well. And I did put a couple of raw copper blocks in here just as sort of cornerstones, or they're not really in the corners, but they're foundation stones. I don't know what they are. Oh, getting late. And then in addition to having some dedicated storage for each of the farms that are in here, I want to have a safer place to AFK. This is just kind of not really working with the vibe, the whole factory vibe, having this glass case that I put myself in. So I want to build another level here, maybe up here as a second level, sort of on where these windows are. That would be like the foreman's office, where you come in, you tend to the farms, make sure all the machinery is working, and then you've got a place to go up there and work on orders and accounts and whatever it is that you need to do in a factory like this. I want to figure out some way of making some innovative lighting. A factory like this should have a lot of flickering lights. I think that would really add a lot of ambiance to this. This is an interesting thing that you can do with depth with windows. There's this arch shape, which, you know, from a distance, the arch shape works fairly well actually at this scale. On the front face, you've got the brick and the granite full blocks, and then you've got walls inset from there, and chains, vertical chains running up and down. And then behind that is a layer of stained glass. We've done a similar thing up here as well. We've got these chains on this level, and then the stained glass right below it. And the stained glass is mostly brown with a couple of gray patches sort of thrown in here and there. I think brown was the easiest color, the most convincing color. All of the other colors of stained glass in Minecraft are just way too bright and way too colorful. It doesn't really make sense in a big dirty factory like this. But brown was the easiest one to go with the vibe. But then having some gray in there makes it look a little bit more weathered, right? These are the windows that are just a little bit dirty and need to be cleaned. For extra variation, you know, most of it you'll see is the plain terracotta, brick and granite, and rooted dirt. And then we do have the light gray terracotta as well. Some mud brick here and there. Again, the polished granite that are going on the pillars. The rooted dirt, and the jungle wood, jungle planks, and then jungle logs as well as another texture that really works well and makes for this unique weathered look. Love watching that farm kick off with the slime blocks being pushed by the pistons. It really does have this. It really does have a mechanical feel to it. It works really well. But you've got to tell me what other farms I need to put in here. I'm not sure what should be the next priority. So that's going to do it for our tour leading up to the factory. I'm so glad I got to show this off to everyone. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed our building tour here. And throughout the episode, I've been hinting at all the things that we've got to do. We got to make improvements to the roads, and we've got to come up with a cool factory interior design as well. So I'm going to be coming up with some ideas. I need to organize too. As you can tell from the interior there's a lot of organization that I need to do. Thanks again for watching the Minecraft Slowrun Bedrock Edition. I am the Talent. Today, we made history, and tomorrow, we're going to make magic.